Let's get ready to rumble.
We're back, episode 154 of the Hibs Ramble. Fuck, 154, eh? Wow, would have thought it. We are recording at the end of a Hibsless weekend, but a dramatic weekend in Scottish football. Not that we're going to talk about that, because we're only here to talk about the Hibs. However, very, very dramatic Sunday in certain parts of Scotland. Some people may have loved that content. Some people may not have loved that content. But this evening, as we look ahead towards a very, very crucial fixture for Hibs in what seems to be a very interesting season in Scottish football, I'm joined by a returning rambler, someone who loves to wind people up. Mr. John Tolmie is here again, back to do it all over again. How you doing this evening, mate? You all right?
I'm not bad, mate. I'm not bad.
Good.
Trying do less winding up this time.
I was thinking about it earlier. I don't think there's really much to do when Hibs don't play at the weekend. There's less people to wind up because people are more concerned about other things. I'm sure you'd find a way if you really wanted to, but here we are. You've been up to much?
I think I need that. Just working, to be honest. That's about it. That's all I really do.
Good.
It's actually been quite good not having a Hibs game this weekend. Getting it, be able to do stuff.
A stressless weekend.
3 o'clock on a Saturday to then watch Hibs play shite and then be miserable for the rest of the day. It's great.
Yeah, mental how much it just dictates your weekends regardless of the result. And if Hibs only playing, the result for the team that the top that you're wearing probably would still dictate your mood anyway. So thankfully they won 100%. As well.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a good weekend all around.
Yeah, that would have been a embarrassing one, but yeah, good weekend for good people. Slightly, I was going to say a different episode tonight because it's a Hibsless weekend. Before we talk about the Livingston game, it would be rude for us not to talk about the small matter of the Martin Boyle news that came out of the club. Don't know if you've noticed, John, but it seems as though the Hibs-led media were kind of hinting towards it for a while now, especially the Hibs Observer in recent weeks. I feel like a lot of the supporters felt it could have happened before he signed his last contract. But I feel like the support at that point was maybe split, as in he's maybe done or it's time for him to move on. But then he picked up some form, and then obviously done really, really well again. And then we're kind of at the same junction now, but a lot of the people are kind of understanding that it probably is time for him to move on. He's obviously only 32, I think, 32, 33. I'm sure he's about ages with me. But yeah, what did you make of the news when it came out, and are you surprised that? I mean, it's annoying that it wasn't Hibs that actually announced it first of all, but we won't get into that. What did you make of the news when it broke in? Is it something you probably expected to happen?
Oh, 100%. I mean, he's out of contract in the summer anyway, so and based on recent form, especially this season, I didn't see him want to stay in Scotland in general anyway. I think everyone could tell you he's got his eyes on moving to Australia. I think that's what he'll end up doing, closer to the national team, and then also he gets to live his life abroad in Australia playing football. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? It's like the best life.
I know. Get paid lots of money to sit in the sun.
Exactly. I mean, that's everyone's dream, is it not? That's great. I mean, as much as it's not surprising, but I think it's quite disappointing that Hibs didn't put it out. But I don't think that's on the club at all. I think that's just on the media trying to get a story.
Yeah, especially on a weekend where there was no league fixtures as well, so you can kind of understand it. But yeah, I completely agree. It's a bit frustrating that it wasn't the club, and the club will probably be slightly annoyed by that as well. He obviously spoke about it, I think it was last season, when he was away with Australia. He's obviously not shy in admitting that he does want to spend some time across in Australia playing football, and it was just a matter of the right time. He'd obviously tasted football abroad when he was in Saudi. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him, and luckily for us, he ended up coming back. I did find it quite funny that when the news came out, you saw the Aberdeen fans getting a bit excited. Oh, pre-contract set to be announced, this, that, and the other, bring him home, things like that. But
Even though they absolutely detest him,
yeah, it's weird.
the
Football fans are
constant
very
bullying.
fickle.
I know, I know.
It will be interesting to see where he goes. Whether it's one of the Melbourne clubs, possibly, or Sydney, I'm unsure. I think Melbourne Victory have still got Juan Mata and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see who he lines up against or with when he is over there. I think you can probably agree that the most important thing is now that with that news probably out in the open, hopefully he can maybe kick on a wee bit and we can kind of appreciate what he can deliver between now and the end of the season.
Well, yeah, 100%. I think he himself knows he's not been firing in all cylinders this season. He's had a few rocky games where he's not really done much, and then there's games where he comes into it and shows exactly what he's all about. It's like the one that I keep that just haunts me in my head is uh, the Motherwell one at Fir Park where he's got room to keeper and tries to like basically tap it in with the outside of his boot instead of like setting himself and just slamming it in,
Yeah.
and that would have been a completely different game. Uh, but then you've got games where he just pops back up and he's a very important player for us. I mean, it's been sort of he's been back and forth this season in general, but I don't think he's completely finished. Uh, he'll know that himself, but he also he just I would hate for him to not do very well for the rest of the season. So because I would like to think that ends up like being a sort of bad stain on his Hibs career if it doesn't end so well.
Yeah, and you kind of take us nicely into kind of what we were going to discuss, and that is Martin Boyle's kind of legacy at the club. When he does leave, obviously he came in once upon a time, um, a long time ago now. The famous deal with Alex Harris at the time, and loads of people kind of turned their nose up at it then, and that was
Mm-hmm.
way back at 2015 when he came on loan initially, and then the move happened in the summer of 2015, I think it was. Sure, memory will serve me correct, and maybe someone will tell me otherwise.
I
But
think you're right.
he spent what 10, 11 years now, all in all at the club, and you'll because obviously, like for example, your age, there's probably not been a more iconic Hibs player in recent memory that's been at the
Not at
club
all.
for as long as that, other than obviously your Lewis Stevenson and Paul Hanlon's and stuff like that. But for the amount of time, the transition that he's went through, not only as a player but probably as a person as well, on and off the park, is I don't want to say it's night and day because it indicates that it wasn't great when he was first here. But you go from a squad player that had potential, lots of pace, lots and lots of pace, but maybe wasn't as clinical, or it definitely wasn't as clinical as he would have wanted at the time when he first joined the club, to that main man, captain, leader on the park, but still being able to maintain the joke and the laugh and the funny side of him that he probably brought to the club when he first joined back in 2015-16. There was a whole lot of skits and people mentioning that he was the joker around the club when Jason Cummins and that were at the club 2015-16, and that they were an iconic duo. And then you had him and Porto years later still having a laugh and a joke, and people still talk about it now. But the difference is now it's like when he steps over that white line, he kind of locks in, and he's there was a couple of seasons, a few seasons back, where he was an absolute animal when he crossed that white line, and
100%.
he just zoned into a different area. So, from your perspective, in your time growing up and where he is now, what how have you seen that kind of transition, and where I don't want to say where does he rank in regards to the players that you've seen during your time, but he has to be kind of up there for sure.
I mean, 100%. I don't fully remember him starting out his Hibs career. I remember him coming on loan, and was he not in? Did we not sign him? Did he not get injured fairly quickly? Or am I wrong?
He's had lots of injuries, obviously, at the club, which is well documented. But he did suffer a knee injury when he first came to the club, and it caused him to miss he ended up missing the playoffs at the end of that season. So he did pick up a knee injury, but then for us to then still back him and bring him in permanently,
We backed him, brought him in permanently, and nurtured him through it. I mean, he's had a few significant injuries over his career at Hibs that he's shown his perseverance and got his head down. It seems like he gets better almost after every one, which I've never really understood. But he's sort of like, you go, oh, we're missing Boyle. He goes out and then he comes back and then he's a completely different animal.
Yeah, I was just trying to get up the stats for him there, but where he is now in regards to his career, obviously, he's at that point where you've seen it in recent weeks that he's seems to have and it's understandable considering the amount of injuries and the key injuries that he's had. He has started to kind of lose that pace. There's been a couple of points where he's maybe been through one-on-one, or he's had a couple of opportunities, and the opposition defenders have managed to kind of get to him. Obviously, there's this new rule that FIFA are going to trial, the whole daylight offside rule.
Could you imagine in Canada, the Arsene Wenger one?
Yeah, could you imagine if that got brought in 10 years ago with Martin Boyle's pace and daylight? Instead of having 100 and I think it's 108, 106 goals he's got for the club, probably have double that.
Doubled that
Easily.
100%. I mean,
easily.
Even this season and last season, there's times you're going, why the fuck are you offside? Stop standing offside. And then he gets the ball and he's offside. If it was a new rule, well, he might want to go play in Canada.
Well, it's definitely not as hot over there, that's for sure.
No, certainly not.
He's won the league. He's won the championship with us. He's obviously won the Scottish Cup as well. Played a pivotal part. Scored a very pivotal goal in the semi-final against Dundee United in the penalty shootout to get us through. Albeit Conrad Logan obviously played a big part then, but he's 2 appearances away for the 400 mark. He's hit 108 goals. He's in the 100 club. For me, I don't know when I'll see another Hibs player hit the 100 mark. If it's taken him 11 years, albeit he's a completely different player now as to what he was when he joined, I don't know the next time that we'll get a 100 club member. Because before that it was Derek Riordan, and you look how prolific he was over his spell. He's going to hit the 400 appearance mark. For me, he's definitely classed as a club legend, and hopefully he's able to kind of get into the 115 goals, close to 120 before he leaves.
I mean, I would like to hope so, but I don't see it, to be perfectly honest. But what the issue is I think we'll be a while before we have a player hit the 100 goal mark, unless there's someone like football's a vastly changing game. It's you're not seeing players stay at clubs as long as they have previously been. I mean, like, I can't think of anyone in this squad that will be at the club in the next 5 years that is like up front, especially players up front. I mean, like, obviously you've got like Josh Campbell and stuff that are like midfielders that he's Hibs through and through, and he'll stay. I think he'll stay at Hibs until he's forced out the door. But I don't see him hitting 100 goals because, I mean, it's taken Martin Boyle, what, 11, 12 years?
Yeah. Well, 398 appearances. So,
Well, just under 400 games for 100 goals.
yeah.
You're talking, you're not really going to see much from that. Like, there's not going to be another player for a while at least, unless we somehow miraculously hold on to someone or get someone through the youth.
Yeah. No, you're right in what you're saying. I was actually thinking about it today. Nothing to do with the Martin Boyle side of it, but you're right that because I was going to say, well, potentially the next person that could do it would probably end up being Scottish. But then again, if you look at obviously Martin Boyle didn't come to Hibs as a Hibs fan, born in Aberdeen, played for Montrose, played for Dundee. He'll definitely leave a Hibs fan, that's for sure. He's left his mark on Hibs, and Hibs have left a mark on him. But what I was thinking today is like I was obviously watching the Ugly Sisters match earlier, and Callum McGregor's missing for them, and you see how pivotal he is for that side. And then I'm thinking they're going to have to replace him soon, and they'll probably look to like a player like Josh Mulligan of a similar ilk. That if you look at like the Scott Brown move, and how that move happened, and then what he became for Celtic, that's probably the kind of thing that would happen for a player like Josh Mulligan. And you're not even Scottish players now. You're not going to see them stick around at a club that long if they're really that good. And that's
Exactly.
probably another reason why I think the whole 100 club probably might not happen. Obviously, he's won the league with us, won the Scottish Cup as well. So, and one of his biggest achievements is he's Hibs' European record goal scorer as well. So,
Yeah.
it will take a lot to beat what he's done for the club. Um, but it will be interesting to see what a Hibs side looks like without Martin Boyle, even from a personality perspective. Because if you look at, and we'll touch on his goals soon, he's a big game player and he scored big goals. And I don't know if you noticed, but there was even Hearts and Aberdeen fans and fans of other clubs replying to the news saying that like they're kind of glad that he's going because in recent seasons he's always scored against them, he's always looked like a real threat. And it'll be interesting to see what that looks like, because when a player like that leaves, similar to like your Lewis Stevensons and your Paul Hanlons that understand the game, they understand the club, you start as a fan to question, well, who's going to transition what it means for fans into the changing room?
Oh no, I mean 100%. That's the thing. You need your once he goes, you need players to step up and take over that role. I mean, like your Josh Campbells, your Rudy Mortnikoff, that sort of been born and bred out of it, that they need to sort of then fill that role left by Martin Boyle. And obviously we need the experience as well. I mean, he's one of our most experienced players, and
Yeah,
once he goes, we're missing that sort of the personality, like you said earlier on. I mean, he's a big personality around the club with the banter and stuff. But we also need that leadership role. I don't really know who you give it to at this time.
no,
Um,
agreed. We've got
yeah,
as your boy was in Dublin over the weekend, so there's no quiz this weekend. But what I did ask from you is your top five Martin Boyle goals. And for those listening, let us know. Comment, reply, DM, whatever you want. Let us know what your top five Martin Boyle goals are. You could probably do top five Martin Boyle celebrations. He's got that many iconic moments.
to be honest, that went into my thinking.
Before we get into it, the most wins that he's got is against Aberdeen and Livi. 14 wins against them. So it's funny what you were saying about Aberdeen as well. Club that he scored the most against is St Mirren, Aberdeen just behind that, and then Rangers. Loved a goal against Rangers. He scored 9 goals against St Mirren, 8 against Motherwell, Livi, Rangers, and Aberdeen. So
Got a few
he's
against
got
Hearts.
he's got 4 against Hearts. 7 assists against Aberdeen, so most wins, second most goals, most assists, all against Aberdeen. So he's definitely up for it when he faces them. But to get back to it, he's scored some big goals against some big teams in some very, very key pivotal moments. Like you said, he's got goals against Hearts, got 4 goals, all of which very, very important goals. He's got 4 goals against Celtic. He's got 6 goals against Dundee United, 8 against Motherwell, 8 against Rangers, 8 against Aberdeen. Hopefully he'll be able to add to his Livi total of 8 at the weekend as well. But and then obviously you've got the 9 goals in European competitions, every single one of them being absolutely important. So what we'll do is I want you to try and rank it from 5 to 1. I know that might be tough,
I will do.
but we'll
That's
go.
what I've just been sitting here looking at my list, going, "Where the fuck
We'll
have we
go.
been?"
We'll go with each other's 5 first, and then 4 all the way to 1. Then we'll talk about
Aye.
potential honourable mentions. So, Martin Boyle, for you, what is your 5th favourite Martin Boyle goal? And let's see what similar ones we have.
This is a fairly recent one. It was against Hearts last season at home, because I think he does exceptionally well in terms to get to the ball and then the finish. But it's the celebration that gets it for me. The cry into the Hearts fans is just absolutely brilliant. That's what I was saying earlier on about celebrations. I could have done all of them based on celebrations, like genuinely. But what's your number 5?
That one doesn't make my list, surprisingly enough. But it's a very, very good goal, and he does take it very, very well. My number 5 is his thunderbolt against Livingston back in 15-16 season. It was a winning goal as well late on.
I've got that higher up.
Aye. For me, I didn't know he had that in the locker. I don't know if he knew that he had it in the locker. He's not done many goals for outside the box. But that aesthetically is a very, very pleasing goal. I sat in the famous 5 stand at the time, so I had that really, really good view of it as well. So yeah, that's my number 5. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is the Hearts away, his first goal in the Boyle derby, where the ball, I think Nisbet plays the ball over the top and he hits it first time. 5 minutes in.
The first one, Scott Allen that. Scott Allen that.
Is it Scott?
The ball comes up and it's a big like loop.
It comes across.
Takes it very, very well.
That one's it's just, I mean, 5 minutes in, he just sort of, he doesn't even really do power. He just places it beyond the keeper, and just with me being at that game, it was just, I mean, there's nothing better than scoring early at Tynecastle.
Another one that does not make my list, believe it or not. Number 4 on my list was his penalty against Partizan away to make it 2-0. Wasn't in Partizan, unfortunately, just because I valued my life. So very, very fair play and well done to those Hibs fans that travelled over. But
see, I forgot to put any European goals because I could not think of any of them. Like, none of them came to my head, so I've left out all European goals.
But for me, Hibs away at Partizan, watching that game, I didn't give us a chance. You're going away to a place like Partizan Belgrade, which is known to be very, very tough to go to, and little old Hibs went there and took a 2-0 win, clean sheet. And I think that is a very, very iconic European victory for us. And he was able to seal it. Watching it at the time when it was 1-0, I was very, very nervous. We get the penalty, and then obviously he's able to stay cool, calm and collected and slot it away for 2-0. And then there's the iconic video again, so another iconic, not necessarily celebration, but an iconic moment for him as he's leaving the pitch, saying that he doesn't think he'll get out here alive. So that just kind of sums him up.
He did.
He did. Number 3.
It's a toss-up But I'll go with Livi at home, the Thunder cunt.
It is a
It's
great
just, I
goal.
mean, I remember seeing that. It's a brilliant goal. And I've not seen any better.
My number three is his hat trick, his third goal, the one that sealed the hat trick at Hampden
Was that not the
against
penalty?
against them. Yep, it was. 38 minutes on the clock, and he slots that away. It could have easily been either of the other two, but again, for me, similar to the Partizan goal, the relief that that third goal gave me, I couldn't quite believe what I was watching unfold.
Yeah,
Obviously, we only took like 10 to 12,000 fans through at the time, and watching that madness of 45 minutes unfold, like it's obviously beating any of the old firm ever is iconic and
it's
really,
brilliant.
really enjoyable. But to go 3-0 up at Hampden, it doesn't matter what state they're in, it doesn't matter. It's all about us.
Aye.
And he managed to do that. So that makes number three on my list. Now we're getting into the
Well,
real nitty.
funny you say that because that's my number two.
Um,
I'd just been at that game, completely surrounded on both sides by Rangers fans. I mean, there are very little Hibs fans out singing them all game, and just that I remember that pen. I've got a video of it as well. My hands pure shaking, and I mean, even then, even at 3-0, you're still thinking, how are we going to chuck this?
yeah.
But no, that's one of my favourite Hibs games I've been to.
That goes back to what was mentioned earlier on, like when he kind of crossed that line, he was in that phase at that point where he was
Mm.
he was a completely different animal playing for Hibs. That was obviously just before his move. So, um, number two on my list, you've mentioned the game, but you've not mentioned the goal. It was his second one. 31 minutes on the clock. He makes it 2-0 at Tiny. Similar to two and three, that goal that he scored gave me the relief, and I was then again thinking, what on earth is going on here? I was there, I was down the front,
Hmm.
my favourite place to be in Tiny, 2-0 up after half an hour. I couldn't quite believe what I was watching.
Aye.
Okay, intrigued, very, very intrigued. I said it to you off
I
air.
feel like
We're
we might
now
have the same one here.
going
So
then.
my number one is Hearts at home on his return to equalise.
Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep. Talk me,
there's
talk
just
me, talk me
nothing.
through
It
that.
came on. Was it 80 odd minutes or something like that? Fairly late on in the game. Well, from my memory, I was pretty pissed.
95th minute,
But
95th minute.
was it? Aye, he got subbed on. Everyone's absolutely buzzing. We're 1-0 down, chasing the game. You're going, oh, it'd be fucking brilliant if he scores today. And then, and my favourite video of all time is Aaron, the wee Jambo, that films all the games, filming the game for his wee vlog, and they're all excited for the win. And you just see Martin Boyle run. Well, LEU and Skin 2 players run through, pass it to Martin Boyle, and boom, scores the goal. And oh, raptures. Watching
Yeah, that's
because it's David Marshall running, just celebrating as well. It makes it even better. That goal on his return, wearing a completely different number for what he is. That will be number 77.
yeah.
Oh, it was a fairy tale. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it's aye, Aaron. I've got a lot of time for that young lad, and he's tremendous. Hibs related content. I'm only ever interested in it when we win, and I always message him to
Oh,
tell him that.
100%.
But that being said, he's not shy and rubbing it in the other way. So fair play. It works both
Oh,
ways.
100%. He's a great guy.
But but that's number one on mine. Obviously, it seems a bit funny with it being a draw, but it was 95th minute,
Mm.
and me and Craig have spoke about this on the pod quite a few times. Like the atmosphere around Hibs and Easter Road the day that I remember walking to the game, then finding out he was in the squad, and even as an
Did we
adult,
not sign him Did we not announce him about 2 days beforehand or something like that?
it was like the morning of. It was
Was it?
very, very late on. Like there was whispers of him signing. We
Hmm.
all knew he was coming back a couple of days before, but it was more about was the paperwork over the line? Is he in the squad? And then the team came out. You saw he was in the squad, and then it was a case of him warming up, and then he was coming on, and the whole excitement around that, and then the eruption. Obviously, when it goes in, there's not been many moments like that in my lifetime at Easter Road. Even iconic goals against Old Firm and Hearts and stuff like that at Easter Road, like that will definitely be up there, and that's why that's my number one. Um,
Well, definitely.
we've got loads and loads of honourable mentions. If you want to talk about celebrations, you've got his penalty against St Johnstone against Xander Clark, where he picks up
Alexander
Xander
Clark, I
Clark's
really
water
picks up the
bottle.
water bottle.
Yeah,
Squishes it.
you've
I
got,
forgot about
like I said, loved the goal against Aberdeen, the one where he scored away from home, and then does the diving celebration.
that. I
Um,
forgot about that as well,
yep,
actually.
you've got his goal at Ibrox last season where he's cupping his ears and shushing the crowd. Um, Loads and loads of iconic goals for him as well. So he'll be sadly missed, but fondly looked back upon. That's for sure.
He was. He'll always have a place in every single Hibs player's heart. I mean, he will forever be immortalised as a Hibs legend. You're not going to get much better than Martin Boyle.
We've obviously spoke about this club quite a few times already in regards to the last kind of 10-15 minutes, and that is Livingston. But before we get onto that, obviously let us know what your thoughts, take on the Martin Boyle news is, your favourite moment, your favourite celebration, your favourite goal. Do you agree with John? Do you agree with me? What is that? What does that look like for you? Let us know. um John, obviously alluded to it quite a few times. It feels like I say this every time, whether it's to you or to Craig or to Liam or Rory when he was on. Every single Hibs game at the minute seems very, very, very important. Um, I know we've created a gap with Falkirk, but God, they're doing well at the minute. They're obviously through to the semi-finals, the Scottish Cup this weekend. They're only 4 points behind us. That could change very, very quickly. What's your thoughts going into the game, which obviously Marvin Bartley will be coming back as manager of Livingston this time.
Um, I mean, every game from now till the split. I mean, to be honest, now till the end of the season is a pretty much a must win. Especially if we want to nail in European football. But I mean, you're expecting to beat Livi at home. I mean, they're what? Are they no bottom? Or is Kelly bottom? I'm pretty sure
No, no.
Livi are bottom, aren't they?
So sorry, not Motherwell. I'm so used to Motherwell talking being near the bottom of the table. Never mind above us. Livingston are adrift at the bottom of the table. They're on 14 points.
Hmm.
They're 7 behind Kilmarnock. They've played the same amount of games. Livy have conceded. Have got the joint worst goal difference in the league, -28. But what is important at the minute for Livingston is since David Martindale took a step back and Marvin Bartley came in, their
They've played very well.
performances anyway have certainly taken an upturn. They've not had the results that they've wanted. However, they have had 3 draws in a row. They're coming off the back of 3 draws against, well, I know St Mirren won today. St Mirren have been in turmoil a wee bit since they won the cup, but a very, very good draw at home against Rangers, a game where they arguably should have been able to see that out. They drew against
Yeah.
a 2-2 draw away at Dundee as well. We obviously drew away to Dundee, but Dundee then went on to beat Motherwell as well. So their performances have been better, but unfortunately for us, they're now starting to pick up points as well, which will give them some confidence coming into the weekend.
I mean, they've got a lot to play for. They will obviously don't want to go down, so they've got that spirit and that belief that they know that they can grab these points, and that's what's worrying me about this weekend's game. Well, sorry, next weekend's game, I should say. Is with us conceding so late on in games, and then especially like if it's a 2-1 or 1-0, like one of these knife edge games, you just know they're gonna throw everything by the kitchen sink at it,
Yeah,
which
and
is exactly how we concede every single time.
that's the issue. It's all fine and well looking at fixtures and thinking, they're near the bottom of the table, we should win that. But like you said, they're fighting for their life, and once you get to this stage of the season, clubs just find this willingness to not give up even more than they probably would in like an October or November fixture. And like you said,
Especially with the new manager bounce as well. Like when Marv taking the helm, they've got the players will have that newfound belief in the new manager, um, to step up and put in good performances so that they know that they can actually start the games, and that seems to be what they're doing at the moment. I mean,
yeah,
like you said, 3 draws on the bounce. I mean, they're obviously you'd want. I mean, they were 2-0 up against Rangers, and they could have went on to win that game, which would have given them a right boost. But even then, a 2-2 draw, when at the start of the game you're thinking, "Oh, Rangers will absolutely turn them over," is just that's just exactly how Scottish football works.
Soto has certainly been performing during his time on the pitch. Um, do you think he will deserve a start this weekend? Because even if you look at the game against Dundee, obviously he came on, scored, but Owen Eldon, rightly so, got a start and he scored. The only one that's not really proved, I don't want to say proved his worth because he's definitely shown real quality, would be Dane Scarlett. Whereas Soto's contributed goals and assists. Owen Eldon's now produced a couple of goals as well, and then you've still got Martin Boyle, who we know what he can give us, and then you've even got Ellie Ewan. So how do you see us kind of shaping up front half of the pitch with maybe two up top?
I think I don't see us for like randomly changing the formation this late into the season when we're desperately needing to close the gap on above us as well as make the gap behind us bigger. I think there's no point in experimenting. Just we know Eldon what we're going to get with Eldon. He sort of suits our style of play fairly well. Um, he's sort of taken that Kieran Bowie role where he's holding players up and bringing it down. But I think Souto deserves a start, at least on the weekend. See what he can do with like a proper start, especially with him and Elding, because we seem to be changing whoever's playing up top every weekend to see who fits with who, and like the subs will be also different to give us that difference. I think with Souto, I think he's got the quality to run at that Livi back defence and produce something. So I think he gets in ahead of Scarlett and Boyle and Ewan for me. But
Do,
I will
do you
trust
think?
whatever David Gray decides he wants to do.
Do you think the whole changing of the front pairing or front two, front three? Do you think that's because David Gray's changing to match up or get the best of who we're up against, or do you think it's more he doesn't know what his best two is at the minute?
I'd like to say it's a bit of both, to be honest, because uh, obviously you're going to want to play your best players suited to who you're coming up against. But also, I think swapping out certain players for who we're playing against to see if it works is also what he's doing at the same time. Like I think it will be both. I don't know if he's looking ahead to next season for the players that are readily available for him to see who works for next season and what we need to strengthen in. But I think yeah, no, I think certainly both ways.
There hasn't been any news came out from a team selection perspective yet, obviously because we're still a long way away. We've still got the rest of the week before the fixture. There's been a bit of chopping and changing at the back, albeit the shape has stayed the same. Rocky took a bit of flack after the Dundee game as well. How do you see us shaping up from a back line perspective? It looks as though Paslak will be looking to stay in. You think hoping Nicky Cadden stays in there. Barlasser's a consistent. Chaiwa recently has been consistently in there. We've now got McGrath back. It's then a case of which three at the back are we then looking at? What three makes you most comfortable?
Grant Hanley at the back, Hanley, O'Hora, and Iredale. But is Hanley still out? Hanley will still be out, isn't he?
Aye.
So, like, that obviously that's not able to happen. But based on players available, Rocky's the only player that you really want in that middle of the back three because he's best suited for that role. Albeit he gets flack because he's got a mistake or two in him sometimes, but he's still one of our best defenders. And then having O'Hora and Iredale off the side of him as well, I think it will just stick to what we played last week. Because we've not really got much else to play around with, do we?
Yeah, and obviously we had the bounce game at the weekend, which probably would have been more for the players that haven't had many game time. David Gray spoke about wanting to rest the main starting 11, so you're probably right. It could end up being a very, very similar starting 11. To bring us to a close, what is your prediction? I was going to say match day -5 at the minute, but we'll close us with a prediction.
3-0 Hibs with Dan Barlazar gets a goal.
Oh.
And I think Soto gets a double.
I'll go 2-0 Martin Boyle double based on what we've been speaking about tonight, and he can extend his lead with goals against Livingston. Right, that brings us to a close this evening.
Actually.
I wonder. I don't know. Maybe he just finds it easier playing against so-called weaker opposition. But then again, he's scored a lot of big goals against big teams. So that seems like a good place to bring it to an end, John. So thank you very, very much for joining me this evening. You and everyone else. Full time at the minute. Full time.
Might as well be. It's a free transfer.
Best signing.
Signing of the season.
You'll be our only signing in the season, so it will be signing in the season. If you made it this far, thank you very much. Enjoy your week. John, you enjoy your week as well. Hopefully we are speaking next week off the back of 3 points for the Hibs. Enjoy your week, everyone. See you later on.
3 goals. See you later, guys.
Let's get ready to rumble.